Craig Greenberg is joining us now live in studio more than 24 hours after the explosion. Are you getting any information about what went wrong at this plant?
We don't have that information yet. Some interviews with employees have begun. Of course, Louisville Fire Department is there on scene investigating the situation, and also the ATF is as well. We expect to get a full answer for why this happened, but we're not there yet.
So an explosion happened at this plant, I know you're aware, back in 2003. We know there is a new owner now, but there have been some air quality violations even as recently as last year. So one employee that we talked to told us today that she had safety concerns, and that I want to know if the city was made aware of any safety or operational issues at this plant before the explosion.
As far as I know right now, we certainly were aware of all of those previous citations from the Air Pollution Control District that you just mentioned. However, we do not know of anything that would be related to something that would cause an explosion such as we saw yesterday. Of course, all of that's going to be looked into, but right now we don't have any of that information, nor do we know whether it was a similar situation than what happened in 2003. We have a lot of information from that explosion 20 plus years ago, and we will be looking to see if there are similarities there as well.
What went through your gut at 3 o'clock when the city finds out that there has been a major blast in a neighborhood that is super populated, right? We have homes very near that plant, businesses, a highly trafficked area. As the leader of this city, what was in your head?
Well,
what was in your heart?
I'll tell you how I found out. I was meeting with my chief of staff in my office, and he started getting text messages on his phone from neighbors of his that were asking if we were having an earthquake, that they had just literally felt the ground shake. And we did not know at that time. And then immediately I got a call from our deputy mayor, and several others were calling me at the same time, found out what happened, and my heart just sunk. I had a pit in my stomach. Immediately hopped in the car to get over to the scene. We were first taking precautions because we didn't know, we did not have any PPE. We were not sure if there were issues with the air quality or anything. Fortunately, it turned out to be okay, but knew that I needed to get there to support all of our brave first responders from the fire department, EMS, LMPD, and others that ran to the scene of this explosion, that ran into the building, and I am convinced saved lives.
All right, so there's been 2 deadly explosions at this plant in the last 20 years or so. Are you aware that neighbors have long wanted it to leave? We went back and looked at some of our archives, some of our stories from 2003. They didn't want it rebuilt in that footprint in the first place. Today we also talked to Councilman Andrew Owen, and he said that his constituents had told him they do not want that plant built back on that block. So where do you stand? Do you think this plant should be built in that same footprint?
So I started hearing those concerns yesterday when I got to the scene, and then of course through the evening and today as well. And I think those are all very legitimate questions. I've spoken to Councilman Owen, who I thank for joining us at the scene, talking with employees, talking with neighbors, so that we can be there as a city, unified front to support everybody. I think they are very legitimate questions. I've spoken to representatives of the company. Today is not the day to deal with this, as they're working to provide answers and as they're working to support the victims, families, and the other impacted employees by this explosion. But I do think we need to have a very serious conversation about whether there might be a better location for this business in our community.
I want to press back a little bit. You say that today is not the day to deal with this. Well, when is the day for the people who are living out there? They want to know if they can get a commitment from you to say,
let me be clear.
It's not gonna go there.
Yeah, let me be clear. I need to get a little bit more information, but I do think there are probably better locations in the city than this location to rebuild this plant. They are, and so I think today, I know the company is focused on supporting the victims and their families and getting answers, so they're not yet focused on rebuilding, but that is going to happen very soon. And I am committed to giving answers to the neighborhoods and seeing if there is a better place in this community.
And we're getting a wrap. I want one last question for you. Is the company being cooperative here? We haven't seen them at the scene. We haven't seen them in your press conferences. Are they being cooperative with the city in this?
I expect them to be fully cooperative. I've spoken to a representative of the company today. We did invite them to the press conference this morning. I expect them to be fully cooperative with the investigation. If not, that will be a concern, but I don't yet have that concern.
All right, Mayor Craig Greenberg, thank you for your time today.
Thank you.